Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be going over Diablo Immortal's endgame. So there's actually several forms of endgame, and we're going to go ahead and hop right into a dungeon over here. So once you reach max level, you can kind of do what you want to go ahead and do throughout the entirety of the game for the most part. However, there are certain things that you want to try to focus in on as they're a part of your daily quests, and just try to get some more crafting materials and things as you progress in the game. So once you go and finish off the game, every day that there are going to be these bounties that you can do, and I'm going to go ahead and actually show you guys a endgame dungeon on hell difficulty, and then we're going to go ahead and do some bounties, and then I'm going to go ahead and show you guys an Elder Rift. So there are multiple ways to be considered endgame. For PvP, I'm going to reserve that for a completely separate video, as there's a lot of things that definitely need some balancing and changes with that. But the first thing I'm going to go ahead and show you guys is, of course, the bounty board and kind of how this works. So you can go ahead and see this bounty board. At the moment, it resets at 2 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, but you'll have these bounties that you can go ahead and take. Now, you can only take 4 at a time, but a lot of them are going over to a certain area and kill X amount of these, or kill X amount of these and collect something that drops from them. So I'm just going to go ahead and accept all of them just so we can go ahead and have all of them here, and then I'm going to go ahead and show you guys kind of how the game works. Now, it has what's considered an auto path, but there is no auto gameplay. So I can click on any one of these, or I guess tap any one of these. Keep in mind, I am playing on controller still, as I just prefer that, but you just tap anywhere, and what it's going to do, it's going to warp you right into that zone, and you're going to go ahead and required to kill like X amount of these. And to make this as thorough as possible, I'm going to go ahead and do all of one of them. And just so you guys can go ahead and see, the full thing. It only takes like a minute or two anyways, but this is one form of endgame, and you want to make sure you do your bounties every single time. Now, to also give them some feedback over here, you can see where it says the navigation is paused. If I unnavigate it right now, you'll see that the navigation will be complete, or it'll be canceled. So right now, I still have this quest. I can still complete it, but it won't show where they're at. So if I want to basically see kind of where they're spawning, I have to go ahead and actually hit that or tap on the screen where it has the quest. But when I do that, if I let the navigation go to the exact center, it'll still just show it off as navigating. And if I move away from like the center of like where the quest is, it'll basically say the navigation is paused. I think for one step to improve this a little bit is just make it so I can remove where it says navigation paused via, like, let's say again tapping this. If I untap it, I lose the entire marker of where they are at. So, and if I just continuously play, it'll reactivate it. I think that we should be able to just move where it says navigation paused, just to make that like text go away, as I really don't need it, right? But anyways, we only have to kill 40 of these, so it won't be too lengthy here. So we'll go ahead and eliminate all of these. And also wanted to mention that the monsters do respawn. So let's say like you killed all of them, like the little like circles in the top right of the minimap, and you're wondering like where are the rest of them? You can just wait, they will respawn. Most of the quests don't require you to wait too long, but once you go ahead and complete it, you'll see that you can go ahead and return to the quartermaster and go ahead and claim your reward. Now, once I finish one of them, I can go ahead and take another one, and I can keep on doing this until I complete all 12 of them. They reset daily, and you'll be able to get some resources as you go ahead and complete these. So these are definitely one form of endgame, which are going to be considered your dailies. There's also daily purchases that you'll be able to go ahead and do through some of the NPCs. But once we go ahead and complete it, we can go and talk to the bounty master, and we'll talk to him, and then we can go ahead and claim the reward. And so I'll just go and throw some stuff on the ground. We happen to just get a helmet over here. So that is one form of endgame. Now, I also mentioned dungeons were another form of endgame, so I'm going to go and show off that. I'll show off Paragon, like we'll do everything here. So if I just tap these activities, you can see all of these dungeons. I'm just going to call them dungeons. I'm not sure what the official name is, but they're just basically bosses. I'm going to do what I would consider a faster one, and you'll be able to get some XP by doing it. You'll also get gold, and you'll get some a mystery item. But it does show off like the item is in that like background, it does kind of look like it's a unique item or a legendary, but it's not like you're going to guarantee yourself a legendary. So I'm going to go ahead and just claim the reward, but I'll also be able to tap on the little smaller icon for the arrow. We're going to go ahead and do this really quick. I'll skip all the dialogue, so there's no really spoilers here. This is actually one of like the earlier like bosses that you'll fight in the game, but just want to give a heads up as a warning just in case anyone did want to. Okay, there's also random events that can happen. If I want to go ahead and join in on that, I can go ahead and join in. Basically, I can follow a horse, a little carriage. I'm just going to go ahead and hit enter. Do it on hell difficulty. It is a lot more difficult on hell difficulty versus normal. Like the scaling of this game does go up quite fast. As if you do the greater rifts, they'll get a lot more challenging. I'll skip out on all the cutscenes and stuff. But this is another form of endgame, as these do give you quite a bit of XP. A lot of people are actually doing this instead of the rifts for XP, as rifts don't really award XP too well. We'll go ahead and eliminate that guy, and then there'll be like a sub boss over here that summons, and then we'll fight the main boss. And some of these are longer than others. This is actually one of the shorter ones, and I want to say it's probably one of the shortest ones that you can do. But all you do is you go ahead and defeat him, this guy, and then also the main boss. But I wanted to go ahead and show off like everything without like basically cutting towards the very end, because a lot of people wanted to see, you know, how long does it take to do certain things, and then the only way to show you guys how long it takes to do some of the content in the game is to fully go ahead and do it. But it's not too difficult. You also get these XP globes. Now these XP globes are much better than the XP globes that you get in the rifts. They give you a lot more progress on your bar. Now we're already max level. I know in the top left it says 5. That's because we're Paragon 5. And Paragon levels are a lot harder to grind for in this game. But we're just going to go zoom through towards the very end. We'll fight this giant wall looking thing. So go ahead and get him down real quick. Go ahead and just pop our ulti. The mana ruck real fast. I try to just target it on the boss, as once you kill him, you can progress. But also another thing I can mention really quick is the bosses will have multiple HP bars, and each little diamond that is next to their name represents like how many he has, how many bars he has. So we just eliminated him. Go ahead and grab all of the loot over here. And then we'll go ahead into the portal, and then we'll fight the Skeleton Kings. So these are, I would say, on average, depending on which one you do. This one, like I said, is one of the shorter ones, but about 10 minutes. The bounties are a little bit faster. The bounties, I would say, are designed to be around 3 to 5 minutes, whereas these are a little bit more lengthy. And you can do these, by the way, with people. You don't have to do these solo. It's just to control the pace at what I'm doing everything at. I'm just going to go ahead and just play solo.
Still waiting.
But for some of the areas, in fact a lot of the areas in Diablo Immortal, in order to progress you have to kill every single enemy on screen. For a lot of the bosses, there's usually some type of interaction where there's a wall and it won't break until either you kill everything so the NPC like deletes the wall, or there's just no more enemies and the wall goes away. But keep in mind, though, that there might be other mechanics that would be considered endgame that aren't released. I'm just showing you guys all of the endgame activities that are available right now in the game as in the alpha state. So this one we'll also have to eliminate all the enemies before the Skeleton King spawns in.
That's still recharging.
So these guys over here, they'll be able to block by the amount of little like shield icons that they have. Stand before Leoric. He has a very like long animation, so you can basically set up and just melt him before he really gets a chance to do too much damage at all. Like look, he's still just walking forward here. So we basically deleted one bar before his like, hi, I'm Leoric animation starts. So we can get on the horse. really stand out. As for the most part, my character is able to tank a little bit in this. It's not the end of the world if you take some of the like elite damage. Alright, so once we eliminate him, we'll get some loot. So this would be another form of the endgame, and then you'll just go ahead and go back. I'm gonna go tap yes. And then it'll put you basically at the very front of the area. Now, I'm going to go ahead and say okay for this one, just so I can show you. This is another form of an activity. It's not necessarily endgame, because you can do this like whenever you want, but it's just another form of activity in the zone. There are different zones that will have these things to go ahead and do, that will have some type of timer tied to it too. Like it's every 20 minutes this happens, or every few hours like the PvP area will open up. So there are some events that you can't just do all the time, but since this one is already available, I'm just going to go ahead and show you guys it. And in fact, this was kind of shown off in one of the segments when they revealed one of the trailers for the game. And I thought it was a cool mechanic. So we're going to go ahead and examine the Cursed Staff. Oh, this is another event over here, actually. So you can talk to him. And some of the things are voice acted, some of them aren't. I don't know if everything plans to have voice acting, but it's kind of nice to have it even on some of these side areas. Where again, each zone will have different ones. Some will just be kill something. This one we got a few things out of a chest, and then we're going to go ahead and again, I want to do this one over here. So it's going to navigate me to the horse. But there are these things just that happen in an area that you go ahead and do it. Let me go and grab this. Now, pools of reflection are a little bit different in Diablo Immortal. What they are basically more so like an XP shrine versus a pool of XP where, you know how you would die, you would lose the bonus pool. In this, you don't. It's just like a shrine. It's a little bit different mechanic. But yeah, this is another form of things that you can do when you go and complete the game. When I did my story campaign, I didn't actually get to experience this. It might have just been like RNG on the timer over here. But how the horse carriage works is you kill things that are around it, and when there's things around it, it does not move. So I'll just grab the blue and grab all this XP globes.
Still recharging.
But if you want a lot of loot, I actually prefer doing this over rifts. Unless you happen to juice up the rift by putting in what's called crests. The rift generally doesn't seem to have like that double legendary chance, but it could be because we're not technically max level in the full game. Because in the alpha, I'm max level. I've already got Paragon, and right after this, I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys the Paragon mechanic in the game, and then we'll also show off the endgame rifts. There's two forms of rifts, but yeah, after we go ahead and escort the horse carriage to the very end, there will be a boss to go ahead and defeat. And a lot of these areas, I want to say these are handcrafted areas, which means it's not randomly generated. Now, if you go into the rifts, those are going to be randomly generated, but these are constructed areas. Same thing with the like the dungeons where we killed like the Skeleton King. That area, it will look the same every single time. At least right now in the alpha. Keep in mind, anything that I mention, you know, is obviously with the alpha. Things technically are subject to change, but I figured I'd go ahead and mention that just in case they have plans to do other things later down the line. But the boss will be coming up very soon over here. There he is. He's called the Tax Collector. We'll go ahead and pop our ulti on him. Alright. Grab all of the loot. And that's going to go ahead and wrap it up. But you can see now, in the top left, that the Haunted Carriage is arriving in 2 minutes. So I guess this one's every 2 minutes. Or, you know, it could be different for... I don't know if it changes on difficulty, actually, but nonetheless, that is another form of other content that you can consume at the very end. I'm going to go ahead and now go back into town, and then I'm going to show you guys the Paragon mechanic so I don't get attacked while I'm going ahead and like showing you guys the other forms of endgame and what's available. Another thing that does unlock once you reach max level in alpha. Max level in the game, I believe, is going to be 60, but in the alpha it's 45, and at 45 you can equip charms. Now, what are charms? They're similar to kind of like Diablo 2 charms, where it's just like plus X to skill, at least at the moment. Now, I've only got one charm that I can actually use. I have a few charms, but they're not for my class, just like in Diablo 2. Actually, I'm going to show you guys my stash so I can show you kind of how it works. So you'll see it says charm, it's rank 1, and it grants +1 to a crossbow shot, which is one of our skills on the Demon Hunter. Now, you can still get other charms, and I can show you guys by just going ahead and actually warping down to the stash. We'll go ahead and let it auto path over to the stash. But while we're walking, I'll show you guys the Paragon system. So I'm going to go ahead and select Paragon. Something important to mention, Paragon does transfer over between your characters, but you cannot use it at, let's say, level like 1. You have to reach max level, and this is considered 45. But once you reach 45, you can go ahead and put, once you level up again past it, you'll be able to put some Paragon points in. Okay, let me go ahead and now I think I can access it because I was moving. Alright, so I want to go ahead and also mention that there are different Paragons that you can't actually select right now, like Treasure Hunter and Gladiator will be unlocked once you go ahead and reach those Paragon levels. However, you can select either Survivor or Vanquisher right at the start. So let me go and show you guys how this tree kind of works, because it's almost like a separate skill tree, which is kind of cool. So you can see over here, if I go for Survivor, you can see that it grants me some armor, and if I get Unyielding, I can get damage reduction based on the amount of life that I'm missing. There's Potency, which is another stat, and then there's also, if you drop below a set amount of life, you can gain movement speed. I'll at least touch all of these once, but I'm not going to make it an in-depth guide to go ahead and read all of these and like, which one it requires or anything like that. You guys can probably see it, but I'll at least touch all of them once just in case anyone does want to go ahead and read and kind of see what these actually do. You guys have the ability to go ahead and do so. Now, there's also another placeholder here. A lot of people were thinking that what's going to happen as seasons come out, you'll be able to increase your Paragon level, because at the moment, it looks like it will be locked to 400 at the moment. But like I mentioned before, Paragon levels in Diablo Immortal are going to be really hard to go ahead and max out on, because if you've played Diablo 3, like once you hit like max level, the first few Paragon points are really easy. You start slamming those down really fast, but it takes longer and longer to go ahead and level up. But this, it starts off relatively hard to go ahead and get those Paragon points. But so we have armor penetration, or we can get damage, and there's these other square nodes that can actually be a huge benefit, as some of these you'll only be able to put 1 point into, and some of these you can put like 20 points into damage over here. But there's also this thing called the Heart of Wrath, which makes so Wrath and Zeal stacks up to 15 times. Well, what's Wrath and Zeal? Well, over here, Zeal makes so each monster I defeat increases my attack speed by 0.5. And then also Exorcism gives us extra damage over here. And then there's defense rating over here, some more defense. And then there's also Judgment, which makes so after defeating 5 monsters, we can guarantee ourselves a critical hit. And then there's also increasing our inventory. But like I mentioned before, your inventory and at least your stash does not swap between your different characters on your account. Then there's Wrath, which is the thing that one of these things boosted up before, which makes so for each monster we defeat, we increase our damage by 0.5 for 6 seconds, stacking up to 10 times. And then we have offensive rating. So that's going to be the Paragon system that is in place. So it's just more numbers overall than anything, but at least there is slightly a cap where a lot of people won't feel like it's an infinite grind. So that's the Paragon system. Also wanted to mention, and another question that you guys might have, can you transfer items between characters? The answer is no. Your stash tab is not shared between the characters, at least as of right now. Maybe this is something that might change in the future, but yeah, you can't transfer your items. In fact, I don't even know if there's going to be a form of trading items. Now, there is trading legendary gems and regular gems and other things, but I'm going to reserve like the other systems for another video. This is just covering the end game mechanic versus like the auction house, because there's kind of there's a marketplace, but it's kind of inactive at the moment. And like I said, I'll reserve that for another specific video. But I want to go and show you guys the other charms that do exist. This is something that doesn't get unlocked until the end game. So you see over here, this one grants Ice Crystal Wizard rank 1. So you can go, at least I've seen up to 3. I don't know if that's available right now in the alpha, but I've seen screenshots of people having plus up to 3 to skill. I don't know if you can get other flat bonuses on it. I've just seen the plus to a very specific skill go up. But that is another thing that would be considered more in the end game. Now, you'll be able to upgrade gems and stuff like that as you progress, and you can upgrade your gear. That's nothing too different here. But what I do want to go ahead and show off is the rift system now. So let's go ahead and go over to the rift system. Now, there are 2 different types of rifts. I'm going to go ahead and navigate. And sometimes when you navigate to a very specific thing, it will let you teleport. Other times, it's just going to go ahead and auto path. So I've shown you guys already the dungeons with the boss. I've shown you guys the bounties, and this is going to be the rift system. So there's 2 rifts. There's the Elder Rift, and there is the Challenge Rift. Now, the Challenge Rift will grant you rewards as you progress in it. I'm going to go ahead and actually cancel the navigation. But once you go ahead and start completing some of these, you'll get these rewards. Now, these are a one-time thing to go ahead and do. In fact, it's the exact same as a regular Rift, except for you get your reward by completing a newer level. There's also a leaderboard. I'm not sure what it's going to show up as right now. So I guess we're 13 right now on the leaderboard, which we were top 5. And when you reach top 5, I'm not sure if it's different for like rank 1 because I haven't hit it there. But when I did get top 5, and this was like yesterday or the day before, when I hit top 5, they gave me 5 legendary crests to go ahead and put into the Elder Rifts, and that will be a guaranteed legendary gem drop. So the Elder Rifts are 100% worth doing. Not only do you get rewards, but if you're able to go ahead and place on the Challenge Rift, which is just like a regular Rift, it's not like a Challenge Rift in Diablo 3 where you have to use someone else's character. You just use your normal character over here. But I'm going to go ahead and hop into an Elder Rift, and you can juice it up by putting these things called crests in. And I plan to make a separate video, so this video is not super long, but I can put in these crests over here, and if I put in these crests, you'll see I'll get different rewards. Now, the legendary crest is absolutely amazing. The rare crest, what it does grant you is some runes, and it also grants you Fading Ember. Fading Ember is another form of currency, and I plan to make a separate video going over what you can do with all the forms of currency, but a lot of the stuff really comes down to either crafting or upgrading your gear. Because just, again, I'm not trying to make this video an hour long. There's just so much content to really cover here. But as far as the rifts go, the gameplay is the exact same between the Elder Rift and the Challenge Rift in terms of what you do. Now, if you do put in a crest, it will add a random modifier, and I'll show you guys what that looks like. We'll go ahead and enter in. And the rift will either have a positive or a negative modifier. And each crest that you put in will modify players' attacks. Now, sometimes execute injured monsters. Okay, so we got a positive one. Like I said, it's random what you get. You can get some insane ones. You can make it so the Rift Guardian doesn't even spawn, which is totally fine. Don't worry, it's not like the Rift Guardian like drops like insane loot or anything. It just completes the Rift and you get your rewards at the very end. So this is just like Diablo 3. If you guys have played Diablo 3, it's the exact same thing. You kill a bunch of monsters, you fill up that purple bar, mainly focusing in on most of the time just trying to kill elites, as it's going to be a little bit more efficient. As when they do get eliminated, they will be dropping these progress orbs. So we'll go ahead and do that real quick. And these are really fast. These are like 2 to 3 minutes for my build, depending on, of course, how fast you play. Obviously, since I'm commentating, sometimes it's a little bit more difficult to speed through things, but I'm just really elite hunting for my class. Some classes, as you push higher in the challenge rifts, as those are a lot more challenging, so to speak, you might need to eliminate more of the enemies, and you can't just like run past some of the stuff because you'll just die, because obviously it will scale and get harder and harder. So you see we'll get these rift progressions, orbs. And once we go ahead and fill up the bar, there'll be a boss. We'll kill the boss. And also, punishment. This is a question that you guys might have. What's the punishment for dying? None. Just res. No problem at all. There's no punishment for dying in this game. In rifts, as far as I'm aware of. Unless later down the line, something that they haven't implemented in yet. But yeah, you can just res just like you can in the other Diablo game. Well, just like you can in, I should say, Diablo 3. Because Diablo 2, when you die, you gotta go back to town, you know, and then you gotta pick up your corpse. But in this, nah, you just res. You can res at the start of the rift, or you can res your corpse. If you do reset your corpse, one little nice quality of life thing is all the enemies will run away from your corpse as if you aren't there. So it gives you like that little breather that you might need, because with some builds in Diablo 3, like you have to proc your damage reduction, but in this game there's not really that. Anyways, at least as of right now, there's not like a 6-piece bonus that says like, you have 50% damage reduction if you use this skill or something like that. But yeah, we'll just kill this last little elite over here, and this will be the end. I do have what would be similar to a Bane of the Powerful, so I'll be able to get nice value out of that with this. But the Rift Guardian that you get, just like any other Rift Guardian in Diablo, it will be completely random. So we'll go ahead and eliminate him. And another thing is that another question that you guys might have from leveling up gems. I do plan to make a completely dedicated gem video, so if you're new here and you do want to see more of like in-depth stuff, make sure you guys subscribe with the bell notification on, and you'll definitely see it very soon. But you do not level up your gems via just doing like a rift. You can get a guaranteed legendary gem if you put in the legendary crest, and at the very end you'll have a blacksmith to go ahead and salvage your gear, to go ahead and get crafting material. Now I'm going to go ahead and show off the inventory real quick. We'll see if we got any upgrades. It says we got an upgrade, but let's see if it is, because sometimes with a socket an upgrade could not be an upgrade, if that makes any sense. So for me, I would consider this maybe not an upgrade. I'm just going to go ahead and do the salvage here. I'm just going to go ahead and disenchant everything. It's going to tell me I have an item that's better than my current gear. I'm not sure I want to salvage it. But if you want to level up your gems, you have to get multiple copies of the same gem and then use them as experience. It's not just like 1 gem plus 1 gem equals level 2 gem, and then level 2 gem plus level 1 gem equals level 3 gem. It gradually starts increasing the amount of gems that you need as you progress in the game. But that's going to basically wrap things up in terms of like, what is, in the end game. We went over the bounties, the dungeons, the events that do happen to occur. PvP, like I said, I'm going to do that on a separate video, because I feel like I kind of want to reserve that, for a separate video. But that's going to basically wrap up the end game, with the exception of going over kind of the battle pass. And I say kind of because there's a lot of things that we don't know about the battle pass. I will probably show that off in a video where I talk about the microtransactions in the game. There's a lot of things that are just unknown. So like if I click on the battle pass, you can see there's a free battle pass and there's a paid battle pass. We cannot pay for the battle pass right now. You can't even interact with the microtransactions as they're just not fully turned on. There are certain things that again, are just unknown in the battle pass. It says the feature isn't available, which, I want to know what that question mark thing is. Is it going to be really good? But things that are really good are going to be these legendary crests, which, again, they guarantee you a legendary gem and 3 runes. It's more so the legendary gem that most people will want in the very beginning, as crafting these legendary gems will cost hundreds of these runes. So, I mean, it's still nice to get them, but the big deal is really getting that guaranteed legendary gem out of it. Now, in terms of progression, because we're talking about like endgame here, obviously you're going to try to push towards the end of the battle pass. You'll be getting a gift of renode. I'm not actually sure what's in there yet. It just says, what does it say? Valuable rewards. But you do towards the end get a legendary gem, and I actually did acquire this one already. Like I said, because I got to top 5 on the leaderboards yesterday, I got 5 legendary crests, which these things are not easy to come by. You can see that like in the battle pass, this is the icon for it. If I click on it, it says feature's not available, but it might be a placeholder. Again, I can't really speak on exactly what this is, unless of course this is exactly what it is in the picture. But I'm really curious to see what these are, and like I said, I'll cover that in a future video. But that's going to go wrap things up. If there's anything else you guys would like to see or want to know about the game, definitely let me know in the comment section below. But that is going to be the current setup for the end game. It's bounties, and remember, you can do 12 of them, and they're pretty fast as well. And I'll be uploading a lot more Diablo Immortal soon, so if you are new here and you do want to see it, subscribe, turn the bell, and you'll definitely see more very soon. And if you enjoyed the video, drop a like on it, but that's going to go ahead and be the end of the video. But thanks for tuning in, guys, and if you want to see more Diablo Immortal content, I'm going to pin some videos down below. A lot of these are going to be questions you guys might already have for the game, so definitely check out those videos that will be pinned down below. But thanks for watching, guys, and I'll catch you on the next video. Have a great day, and I'm signing out. Peace.